So I thought I'd make a video on this. There's some topics that are going through my mind. Don't know how much of it's true, specifically on this whole Jody thing. I want to say that I remember seeing the ambulance there parked without the lights on. And I don't remember seeing a whole bunch of cars there. And I remember watching a guy come out of that house. There was a fireman. I want to say he was a tall, thin guy, dirty blonde hair. He was a white guy for sure. Could have been brown hair, but I want to say dirty blonde. But I'm not too sure. He was a thinner guy, and he was walking out almost like very slow, like disappointment, like something. Their lights weren't turned on. The siren lights. This is one of the reasons that, because I didn't know why. At the time, this is like a year after I had, stopped hanging around Jody, and I don't remember. It was so big because it was just a moment. Because I remember thinking to myself, I'm supposed to give this guy compassion, and me kind of getting scared from this, because I didn't know what suicide was at this time, or around this time. Because around this time, I think it was after this, my grandpa had hung himself, the one that raped me and my brother when we were kids. And my uncle, the other uncle that raped us, was the one that picked him up off the tree and found him. And I didn't even understand what that was, because my mother got on the phone and she said, "Oh, it's a sick little," and I'm like, "What? You don't hang yourself?" Because I didn't know what suicide was. I didn't know people would wanted to hurt themselves like that. So, or specifically a rope and hang themselves. So I do remember it was confusing to me when he mumbled that. It was before my dad's suicide for sure. And it was around the time my father sort of started to semi drink too much. And it was like the last 2 to 3 years. But I do recall, I want to say that there was an ambulance and it was just parked there without any lights on. And one of the reasons I say this, because I think that whoever it is that's fixing up this psychology, I think they're lying to me, or just don't want to inform me, because it's such a big tragedy. Because that's what Jody did say. He goes, yeah, he hung himself, or he just was kind of looking away and he did that. But the idea of it is one day he wasn't, when I looked at him, he particularly didn't look like, I was expecting a jolly personality, like a sort of clown. He was almost, like someone who puts a costume impersonating and is kind of joyful, I guess, because you have to be a joyful to kind of put on that kind of suit. And, in life, but we hear about the sad clowns, the stories of that. And, I think that with this particular situation, he walked in and he kind of, I think he did a little, Elvis pose there for a second, and kind of looked at me, kind of gave smiles like, oh, and didn't really think of it too much. Kept on walking to the kitchen. Seen him do that a couple times. He came home, but I only been inside Jody's house probably maybe a total of 7 or 8 times. It was maybe just 2-3 times that I actually sat down on the chair and just started talking as kids in the living room. And then he showed me his dad's memorabilia and his vinyl records, some of the stuff he had. And, I recall, like, when his dad was walking to the kitchen, he looked at his wife, and I don't know if he said something or he was about to, but he goes, like he was in pain. Like he looked like his expression, because I don't think he knew that I was looking at him, staring at him. He didn't know that. He was kind of in his own world. And whenever he looked toward the kitchen, he particularly looked very Because Jody would probably remember the very last moments of his life, especially if I was in his house, because never many kids went into his house. And he looked, and he looked like he was in a lot of pain. I mean, he looked like, and he was holding something inside, like he was in pain. And when he goes like this, he goes, like he looked with, like, I'm gonna go do it, like I'm, like, and he moved away in that manner, but he wasn't directing it necessarily toward the wife, because I don't remember. I just know the body language. I don't remember this part. I don't remember if she responded maybe something because she was mad. I don't. There was never arguments. The person didn't ever look. The wife never looked mad. Neither did he. Whether it's like a little bitterness, just for a bitter moment, just of expression, just a small bitter moment of expression. But I do remember his face, and he goes, like he was like, I'm a nobody, like I'm tired of this or some shit. And that's what he expressed when he walked down the hall. And that's why I think that it was him. It's not to say I got it wrong, or with the psychologist. I think the psychologist may be lying. I spoke to his dad or his mom, or his dad or his aunt, or whoever it was, whatever those circumstances were. And that was it. So I thought I would have said something, and it was important, just because I could have got it wrong. And that was that. That's why I thought, because I had seen his dad walk out of his car a couple of times, and he kept his head down. Like he was walking up with his head down. I've seen him a few times, but like walking in a depression way. Not like he was thinking, but like in a depression way. Like he was like sad to be going somewhere, or sad coming from this place. Because I would, it was just a personality that someone that looks like Elvis, has black hair, and does the impersonation of Elvis, and does a few shows, is particularly someone that is it's unusual to see that type of expression. It's like someone that's dresses up like a clown. I'm not saying a clown. I'm not particularly puts a costume on. You go to Chuck E. Cheese, you see the mouse, all happy and everything, but the person takes theirs. You see the other side of them, and it's just a sad, depressive person, very sad, down falling person. But like I said, that's what I recall. I do remember there was an ambulance there, and it was parked, and it was not. And I remember there was a couple of guys. There was like one guy that went in there, and then there was like, I know there was more than one, but they were like, they stopped and they were frozen. Then they were like, they had something bad happen in there, that for some reason he had to walk out. And I didn't see Jody. It didn't look like, I didn't see Jody. I didn't see the kids. I didn't see anybody. But I do remember that, like, I want to say the guy talked to another brown hair guy. They were both skinny. At least the skinny blonde hair guy, but they were both thin guys. I mean, I don't know how firefighters are all fat, or some are fat, but that's what he expressed. It looked like, I knew if I could remember, if there was, and I do remember, if I am right, and I did see that, I did look, it looked, that's what they gave off, because I saw for a moment, I was like, why is there an ambulance? The lights are not turned off. It's like, it must have been a gas leak or something. They go for gas leaks, or, a plumbing problem or some shit, but they walked out very slowly, like, and they were just... And I want to say the guy walked out, and he was just like, and he was looking at the other guy like, which makes me lead to believe that they cycle these behaviors, because I saw the people way down the street do something like that. It has a few firefighters, the lights are all off. I don't remember if I saw a fire truck. I don't think I ever remember seeing that. They could have shown up, maybe a glance, and I was like, oh, something, there must have been added some more help or something. but I don't know what those circumstances really were. I don't know how it works to those departments when they have to pick up a suicide, because you don't, especially in a neighborhood, because you don't want the neighbors to look to see they're pulling out a dead body. It's the same thing like funeral homes. Like when I was a kid, I remember a couple of times they had a white sheet over a dead body, and the funeral director would be like looking to make sure there wasn't. He didn't know that I was there, let alone that I had seen the dead body right there. It was a dead person. I don't know who it was, and I was walking home from school. But I don't know what those procedures are. I just know that the sirens weren't on, and it was quiet, and so I thought I would say something about that. That's why I thought, but it's not to say that maybe it wasn't him, you know. But I do remember. I want to say that my common sense tells me that it was him. It was him because he gave an expression when I looked right at him of like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna go. Like I'm tired. I'm gonna. Like he looked like he was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm tired of this shit. And he walked. But it wasn't like a very explosion, like like a sad, but he was hiding it, and you could see it on his face, like I could kind of see it, most of his face, like at least more, a little more than half, about half of it, and I could kind of a little bit more than half, and and I was to his right, and he goes like this, and he goes like that, like, and I don't know if she said something, or I don't know if she was washing dishes or something in the kitchen. But I thought I would say something, and his mom worked with the PTA. I used to see his mom pretty frequently over at the PTA, which is a parent-teacher association, where they have all the parents that help out the teachers and the kids, and they were there all the time. I'd seen her participate in that a lot of times, but I thought I would say something. Because maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was something else, you know.